When it comes to a person seeing content on a screen and making that experience more comfortable and enjoyable, I have a few tips I'd love to share that can be found in Windows 11 and our Surface devices. Let's jump in. Windows scaling. Windows scaling is a feature that can make text, apps, buttons, and other items larger or smaller without changing screen resolution. This in turn makes using most things in Windows and apps comfortable for my eyes, for legibility, and also double as a benefit at helping my posture as I'm not leaning forward as much to read and select tiny filter checkboxes in Excel. There is no one-size-fits-all percentage, so experiment until you find a percentage that makes you comfortable. This feature also remembers scaling options for different displays. For example, scaling on my Surface display is different than my monitor, since my monitor size and pixel density is different than my Surface. For my 28-inch home monitor you saw in my home photo, I have it set to 150% scaling, while my 13-inch Surface Pro, I have it set to 225%. Next is nightlight. Nightlight reduces the amount of blue light emitting from the display, which matters depending on how much ambient light you are surrounded by or time of day you may be in. Studies exist on how blue light can impact focus and sleep. However, in my own experience, it makes looking at a screen throughout the day more enjoyable and tolerable. I want blue light during the day to see better in ambient light, and less blue light in the evening when there are few competing light sources. Nightlight is a feature I employ on all my devices actually, from my Surface, phone, even my TV and Xbox. The one thing I do hear about is the feature makes everything look red. This is the idea, however. If you try it, you'll eventually start to see other people's screens looking too blue. All that to say is you will likely get used to it. You can also ease into it and schedule it to sunrise and sunset like I do. A small feature that I love to talk about is mouse cursor sizes. I often find people love to crank the resolution so text is tiny so they can see dozens of rows and columns in Excel, but then lean in, squint, and struggle to click on the right things. We talked about how Windows scaling can help with this, but the mouse sometimes is still too small, at least I find it so. You can change the mouse cursor size, making it easy to find your mouse and click with greater confidence. There are also options for colored cursors and inverting cursors. Yes, I do get people commenting that my mouse is huge, but it's comfortable for me and saves me frustration finding the mouse when using a large monitor or multiple monitors, and is also helpful when presenting and using my cursor to point out things to others when presenting. Last is displays. Displays have many properties to talk about, and I want to focus on three: PPI, or pixels per inch, aspect ratio, and size. First is PPI, or pixel density. The greater the pixel density, the sharper things on the display can look. The Surface portfolio come equipped with high PPI displays and can range from 148 to 267 PPI, depending on model. My Surface Pro 8, for example, has 267 PPI, making things look sharp even when I lean in close. Next is aspect ratio. 16:9 is likely what your TV's aspect ratio is, which is great for watching shows. Many PC manufacturers use 16:9 because it's mass-produced. Surface devices pioneered mass-market 3:2 aspect displays, which permit for taller and more screen real estate in a smaller footprint. For example, a 13-inch 16:9 display has less screen area than a 13-inch 3:2 device like our Surface Pro device. Taller screens also help with how I find myself leaning forward and scrolling vertically on a screen. Last is simply the display size, which often can factor into weight. If you can't see what you're working on well, even after Windows scaling, you may prefer a larger display. Surface has PCs that range from devices as small as 10.5 inch to as large as 28 inches, and many options in between.